So, like, all that content about the Sonic.exe stuff on YouTube, it's totally hitting a huge money and rules crisis right now. I'm talking about mass demonetization, you know, the platform taking away the ad money plus they're restricting who can even see the videos. And the really messed up part? There's this serious problem of people abusing the copyright system to scam others. This whole mess is happening because of three big things. First, YouTube has these super strict rules about protecting brands and characters aimed at kids, child safety policies. Second, their AI systems, the ones that categorize content, are kinda stupid and keep misinterpreting everything. Third, some folks are straight up misusing YouTube's tools, especially the content ID system. All of this combined is seriously killing the income, like the actual livelihoods, of the creators who make these game videos. But the question here is, what the heck is Sonic.exe? The whole Sonic.exe thing started as a creepypasta that's just a scary story shared online. It's basically about this beloved character, Sonic the Hedgehog, but in a corrupt, haunted video game. The original story is messed up, like Sonic is killing his familiar friends, and the evil creature eventually tries to get out into the real world. The challenge for platforms like YouTube is how to deal with content that takes an officially licensed, family-friendly IP, Sonic, and throws it into this bloody, dark horror context. It really blew up into a ton of fan games and mods, especially the mods for that rhythm game, Friday Night Funkin'. That's what made it super popular, but it also put it right in the crosshairs of YouTube's algorithms. The question here is, why are they killing the money from channels that broadcast Sonic.exe games? To get how the restriction works, you gotta know there are two main rule sets. Community guidelines, these are for the safety of the platform. Break these, and your video gets taken down, or your channel gets a strike. The extreme, violent stuff in Sonic.exe sometimes gets close to breaking these. Advertiser-friendly guidelines, AFG, this is all about the money, specifically, whether a video gets ads, the monetization status. Breaking these rules gets you demonetized or the yellow icon, limited or no ads. This is the main reason these creators are getting financially screwed. YouTube is basically having trouble balancing creative expression, the EDSA stuff, and protecting brands and kids. They're totally leaning toward brand safety now, even if it kills free speech in these weird gray areas. Since Sonic.exe blew up in FNF, which, like, a lot of teens and younger kids play, the AI started auto-flagging it as content co-opting family IP, ignoring the fact that the actual channel is a horror channel aimed at adults. The whole harmful to kids thing. The main reason they're demonetizing a ton of Sonic.exe channels is officially content harmful for children. This all goes back to laws like COPPA and policies that try to stop people from taking family-friendly characters, family IP, and putting them in violent, adult horror. YouTube's policy basically sees putting Sonic, a core family character, into over-the-top violence as a violation of their platform's safety, no matter what the creator intended or what the audience setting is. The rules are trying to keep anything for 13 plus or 18 plus out of the YouTube Kids app. So, for Sonic.exe, the system usually just sees a spoiled kids video, co-opting family IP, and not adult horror, which leads to them being way too strict, over-enforcement. The AI is super clueless. Creators are saying they are setting their videos as not targeted for children, but they're getting demonetized anyway. People suspect the AI system that automatically checks for violations is totally trash at differentiating between the game's actual nature, which is, like, cheesy adult horror, and genuinely harmful content. Instead of judging the full context, the system prioritizes the visuals, a cartoon character in a bloody setting, as a huge red flag for advertisers. Now, creators are begging YouTube to use actual human reviewers to look at this stuff, which basically confirms that the current automated process is totally unfair. The scary content problem. On top of the co-opting issue, the horror aspect of Sonic.exe makes it a target for the advertiser guidelines for shocking content. YouTube is clear that content focused on violence or injuries, especially super dramatic or over-the-top bloody details, gory details, earns limited or no ads. While YouTube makes some exceptions for violent content if it's educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic, EDSA, let's play videos of horror games made for entertainment rarely fall into that acceptable EDSA category. That makes them super vulnerable to demonetization. The main difference is that horror series like Five Nights at Freddy's might be more stable financially because they're an original horror title, whereas Sonic.exe breaks the co-opting policy, which YouTube sees as way worse. The platform's relying on automated detection systems to flag Sonic.exe content based on specific visuals or audio. These systems are just a quick compliance tool, but they suck at understanding the nuance of horror scripts and satire. YouTube itself admits that appeals are a major part of the process because the automated system might make mistakes. Constant pressure from advertisers to avoid controversial content causes the automated system to heavily suppress content that falls on the edge, even if it is intended for adults, such as creepypasta. The system is not just a compliance tool, it is an economic filter. Small channels producing niche content can lose monetization opportunities simply because an advertiser is afraid, brand safety, without a quick human review. This limits the reach of the video, even if it is clearly intended for adults. The appeal process does work. Despite those harsh initial decisions to revoke monetization, there is evidence that creators can successfully appeal those decisions. Some creators have said that their appeals were successful within 24 hours. This suggests that the harmful to minors decision they received may be just a lazy excuse used to weed out small and medium-sized channels that advertisers don't like. People's experiences show that a successful appeal requires a very clear video explaining how the content complies with YouTube's rules, focusing on how the creator adds editorial value or unique context, such as great commentary or artistic value. Essentially, the creator needs to provide clear evidence that the content is intended for adult audiences, and should avoid being emotional or overly defensive. The other big problem, copyright scams. On the side of the demonetization crisis, the Sonic.exe community is facing a whole separate, serious issue with people abusing the content ID system, which is the automated copyright system. Creators reported that someone was putting in ownership claims against hundreds of Sonic.exe game videos, saying they own the music used in the games. What's crazy is that this person claimed ownership of music actually owned by Nintendo, which was originally used in games like Earthbound. This kind of scam either redirects the ad revenue to the scammer or blocks the video entirely. Content ID's flaws. Content ID is supposed to protect intellectual property, but it is easy for it to be abused by shady people who file false claims, fraudulent claims. The fact that the Sonic.exe community is facing two problems at once, their funds being held up due to YouTube rules and reports by scammers exploiting a broken system, makes it completely pointless to invest time in this type of content. Creators are afraid to file a dispute or counter-notification against these fake claims. This is because the process may force them to give their personal information to the scammer, or they risk getting a copyright strike on their channel if YouTube rejects the dispute. This usually makes them accept the financial loss to avoid the risk of losing their channel altogether. This has led to widespread calls for YouTube to fix and redesign their copyright policies. Threat to livelihoods. Creators argue that mass monetization removal poses a direct threat to their livelihoods. Aside from the direct loss of advertising revenue, ad restrictions lead to spoiled video reach. YouTube's algorithm essentially restricts videos marked with a yellow icon, limited monetization, because the platform and advertisers do not make money from them. This limits content reach and stifles the growth potential of niche channels. Drama within the community. The problems facing this community are not solely YouTube's fault, they extend to internal problems within the community, making it difficult to showcase content to advertisers. Fan characters banned. Some popular Sonic.exe characters from FNF mods have been banned from platforms such as Game Banana. This decision clearly signals that the EXE era is over. Ethical issues. The community has been embroiled in serious ethical drama involving the original author of Sonic.exe creepypasta and allegations of misconduct. All of this drama, regardless of the video content itself, helps to classify this entire niche as high risk for the platform. The negative reputation makes advertisers more hesitant to place ads near any content labeled Sonic.exe, justifying YouTube's strict automated actions for brand safety reasons. Essentially, YouTube is not only punishing the content, but also the environment and behavior surrounding the content. What to do about it? Given that the economics of creepypasta content are highly unstable, creators need a two-pronged strategy to deal with monetization and copyright removal crises. Creators need a clear strategy when appealing a monetization removal decision, focusing on demonstrating that the video is intended for adults and does not mislead children. Target audience. Clearly state that the target audience is 18+. Added value. Appeal should focus on added editorial value and commentary/narrative that goes beyond raw gameplay. They should explain in detail how the content is documentary or artistic horror, EDSA, if possible. Modify visual elements. Creators should be advised to tone down shocking/gory visual elements, e.g., blurring or clear warnings, in the first few seconds of the video to avoid strict automated detection at the outset. Strategies for dealing with fraudulent content ID claims. Dealing with false copyright claims requires courage and legal knowledge. Direct dispute. They should challenge false content ID claims. Since the YouTube Partner Program is unstable in this area, creators need to find other ways to make money. Bottom line, the Sonic.exe restrictions are a perfect example of the problems that large video platforms face. This analysis shows that the restrictions are the result of multiple system failures, not just one policy. They are the inevitable result of a complex child protection policy combined with a fragile content ID system under pressure from the advertising economy. It is clear that YouTube prioritizes protecting the brand integrity of advertisers over the niche economy of creators working in the gray areas of digital content. The AI is still completely inaccurate at judging content's intent versus context. Communities based on unofficial, controversial IP like creepypasta are doubly vulnerable to automated and social restriction, and the community's internal drama, whether it's about the original creator's behavior or the decision to end fan characters, just makes it even harder for this niche to survive financially on the platform. YouTube is probably just going to keep tightening up on automatically generated or heavily reused content, like they said in recent updates. The pressure will be on to professionalize horror content. Any content mixing family characters with violence will keep having major monetization problems unless it's presented with high-level, critical, or documentary context. These strict restrictions are basically shoving this content into the shadow realm where the content can exist, but it can't make money. This reflects a bigger trend on YouTube towards sanitization to fit the highest advertiser standards. So, the future for digital horror content that uses family IP is facing a serious existential threat, forcing creators to switch to original IP or other revenue models that don't rely on direct YouTube ads.